honestly, I don't know what this live gonna give today because it's been doing a lot of freezing on me. But I wanted to get this started out really, really quickly. I don't know what this is, but anyway, I am gonna start focusing on another channel, um, because I feel like this is um the Old Testament of my life. Not necessarily the Old Testament, but it's the journey. I'll say that it's more of the journey of how I got here, and I'm ready to show the harvest of the journey. So I'm ready to focus on putting out content that allows me to to move from that space. Recently a big conference happened, and you know, y'all know what conference it is because somebody in the comment section to one of my posts asked me, did I go to it? And it happens this time of year every year. And the part of me that loves, community building and fellowshipping with other people who look like me, um, was misses that connection, had been missing that connection. But the ancestors they have a beautiful way of doing things, because I've been in communion with some non-binary and transmasculine people, and that's who I've been sharing a lot of time with. And for those of you who know, the conference that I was talking about was created by transmasculine beings. Um, and so, having the opportunity to share space with transmasculine beings and non binary beings who were not born with, who were born with a different genetic chromosome than I was, um, it's something about it you need, for balance. You need to have that interaction. You need to have that engagement spiritually. And I just been feeling so much, more whole, because there was a gap in my life when I wasn't making those connections, when I didn't have that relationship. I never wanted all of my tribe or all of my friends to be, trans femmes, or to be beings that were born with the XY chromosome and resonated more with womanhood, because you can't get all of the answers. The puzzle doesn't completely come together for you if you are not building relationships with people outside of not only your race, your sexuality, your culture, but your genetic makeup. It's a such thing as too gay. It's a such thing as too binary, trans femme. And you can't get balance without hearing perspectives with people who have varying views based on their experiences, whether it be through just life experiences or genetic experiences. Now, the reason why I made this video talking about unpacking Black excellence is because last night I was having a conversation with, and I always, they're younger than me, so I am the elder of the group, and but both of them are super intelligent. Shout out to Evolve and Uhuru. And we were talking yesterday, and one of the things that really, really spoke to me was because I made the statement that it's interesting how Black excellence always aligns with white acceptance. I'm going to say that again. It's interesting how black excellence often aligns with white acceptance. Is it really excellence if it's accepted by your oppressor? Is it really excellence if your oppressor or the beings who've been responsible for your oppression approve of it? If it's acceptable in their eyes, they've been colonizers, they've colonialized us. Is black excellence really excellence if it always has to align with what's palatable to white people? Is it really black excellence? That's a very interesting question. And so when we was talking about it, a lot of times a lot of times we have to understand that it's we always saying, like, I hear a lot of us saying anti-black, 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 anti-black. Oh, that's anti-black. Oh, that's anti-black. No, that's not really, because guess what? It be black people sometimes. It be your own people. It be your own people. Everything is not anti-black because blackness doesn't, in many cases, align with indigeneity, with indigenous, with the way indigenous people always align. A lot of us have Indian in our family. A lot of us have Choctaw, Creek, Cherokee, and a lot of the rituals that are associated with what indigenous people did, those of us who wanted to be a part of this construct, and those of us who wanted to sit at the table with our Caucasian oppressors, not all Caucasians are oppressors, but those of us that wanted to sit at the table with elite white folks, those of us that wanted to rub elbows and wanted to be welcome to their tables, we put down a lot of our traditions. We put down a lot of the things that our ancestors did so we could sit at the table with them. And that is not anti-black. That's anti-indigenous. That's anti-queer. Because blackness is a construct that was made up by whiteness to navigate this system that we now live in. I'm gonna say that again. I'm still gonna call myself black indigenous because you got to meet the people where they at. But blackness is a construct that was created by whiteness to navigate this matrix. So a lot of things that people be saying, oh, that's anti-black, that's anti-black. No, that's not anti-black, boo. That's actually anti-indigenous. If I come into a space with some face paint on, or if I come into a space and I'm not dressed appropriately for your taste, if I come into a space and I speak a little bit too free, I'm moving a little bit too liberated. One of the things that Uhuru said that really, really resonates with me, I'm looking at your movement, I'm looking at your setup, and if the fat, disabled, black trans person or black queer person is treated, pushed to the back of the bus in your space, is not respected in your space, then that's not liberation. If I gotta come up, if I gotta put on a monkey suit, if I got to change my hair, if I got to pinch my nose, if I got to go and lighten my skin, if I got to wear certain clothes, if I can't, they talking about the liberation will not be, they talking about the a revolution will not be televised. If I can't come to the revolution barefooted, if I can't come to the revolution with my tribal paint on, if I can't come to the revolution speaking broken English, if I can't come to the revolution with my ebonics, if I can't bring my whole self to the revolution, is it really revolutionary? Is it really liberation? What is this? Because like Uhuru said yesterday, Something feels odd. But this is not liberation. This is something else. This is not excellence. Because excellence should not have to align with white acceptance. This is not excellence. So y'all could take all your little bougie pictures, wear your cute little wigs, wear your diamonds, hold your head up high and pretend like you're elite and pretend like you're the bourgeois, but you're really anti-indigenous. You're ashamed of your ancestors. You're ashamed of your ancestors that were connected to nature. You're ashamed of your ancestors that didn't need to lay up under the AC and eat at five-star restaurants. You're ashamed of your ancestors that didn't give a fuck about whites only this and whites only that because they didn't want to go in a space that was never meant for them or never designed for them anyway. You work your whole life to build up your oppressor's machine. You invest all of your energy into building up a machine that is designed to make you forget who you are, to leave you hollow and to leave you empty because it never gave a fuck about you. That's not black excellence, that's black negligence. Working your whole life to be a cog in someone else's dream, to be a cog in someone else's dream. This was never the dream of my ancestors. They always talking about when you see somebody who done created something or who done put in some infrastructure to build up this system, to lift up this system. Child, you could get all of and this is not me shading academic people or people who went to college or people who have education. But if you are someone who thinks that you're better than someone because you got them letters behind your name, because you got a good job working up on the plantation, because you think if you think you're better, this is for you. No matter how many fancy dresses you put on it, no matter how many bells and whistles that you put on it, out here in this matrix, nothing, all they're trying to do is get us more hooked up to them, make us need them more. Our ancestors were independent. They knew how to live off the land. No, they didn't have all of the fancy stuff. No, they didn't have all of the bells and whistles, but they knew how to take care of themselves. They knew how to heal themselves, and they knew how to survive off the land. They was connected with nature. They understood nature. They had a lot of spiritual gifts. They had a lot of gifts because they weren't afraid of the struggle that came from navigating nature. Convenience in this matrix has cost us more than you know. Your convenience has put you in chains. The need for convenience, the need for all of these things, it's put a lot of us in chains. Chains that our great grandchildren ain't gonna be able to get out of. Because they ain't gonna know how to get out of it. But Martin Luther King told us before he died, I may have integrated my people into a burning house. Because he already knew the jig was up. The cover had been blown. The jig was up. He told us in the 1960s, I may have integrated my people into a burning house. He knew the jig was up. So everything that you're doing moving forward, you're doing it because you want to have an experience. You just want that experience. And then he was taken out. Exactly. You're doing this because you want to have an experience. Just say that. Say that with your whole chest. Say, I want to have an experience. I want to do something different. I want to have a different experience from my ancestors. Say that. But don't go around here lying, talking about you black excellence. Because we know what that's code for. The talented 10. The bourgeois elite. The gatekeepers, and not in a good way. Round here doing massa bidding. Ups on the plantation. You don't give a fuck about your own. You just want to make sure you good up on this plantation. You and yearns. And that's why I'm in the space that I'm in now. That's why I'm in the mental space that I'm in now. I'm trying the spirit by the spirit, and I'm really on some becoming purple shit. I'm really on that. That's my vibe. And I'm looking at you. I don't care what color your skin is, I'm listening to you, I'm seeing how you move, and I'm studying you. Because again, a lot of things that y'all say is anti-black, is really anti-indigenous. A lot of y'all don't even know that you're that you, let me tell you something. I'm not gonna say the DNA test ain't real, but I know that this country does not have a history of telling us the truth. So why would they tell me the truth in a DNA test? But I do know that I talked to my grandmother and my auntie, and I talked to my living relatives before they died, and I never heard any stories about any of my ancestors that were slaves. I knew that one of my great great grandfathers was a preacher, and I knew, and he could have been helping colonize folk. He could have been responsible for it. He could have been herding his own. You picked up that Bible and started preaching that. So maybe he helped with some things that shouldn't have been helped with. I know my great great grandfather was a preacher, and I know that a couple of my great great grandmothers were full blood Indian. I don't know the slaves that were in my family. I do know that we have experienced racism. I do know that we have experienced Jim Crow. I do know that I've experienced anti blackness. But I think the greatest thing that I've experienced in this nation is anti indigeneity. And it's come from my own people wanting me to be ashamed of my wholeness, wanting me to be ashamed of things that have always felt right to me. I'll never forget when I went by my mom's house, because if y'all know me, y'all know. I went through this season where I wore tribal paint for like 6 months when I moved into this hood back in like 2017. I was living in Jackson Landing in New Orleans. And um, I was post-op. I had just had my surgery like 2 years before. And, the boys be at me. I'm not bragging or, trying to, you know, act full of myself, but the boys do be at me just to go ahead and just be straightforward with it. And I did not want to be approached by them because I was afraid for my safety, because the boys will want to have, and then somebody find out, even if I am post-op, somebody find out because they don't know I'm post-op, and they be like, oh, blah, 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 blah. So in order to keep myself safe, I wore tribal paint. Of course, it made a lot of them think I was crazy, but it kept me safe. That was one of the reasons why I wore it, because it made them afraid of me. They thought, oh, you doing voodoo. They thought, oh, you crazy. Whatever you think, just stay away from me. Just leave me alone. So I was really legit in a spiritual warfare. So I picked up one of the tools that my ancestors used when they were at war, when they were going through something. They would paint their face. So I picked that back up. I started using it as a way to protect myself when I was navigating the hood. Now, mind you, when I went to my mama's house, my mama said, why did you paint your face? Our people put that down. And I'll never forget what I told my mama. I said, we didn't put that down. That was beat out of us. And when I say beat out of us, I don't mean literal, because a lot of beatings are psychological. You can't sit with us unless you take that off your face. You can't have this opportunity unless you don't wear that. We're not going to invite you to this space if you come like that. That's not anti blackness, that's anti indigenous. That's anti-indigeneity. So let's call a thing a thing. Let's call it what it is. Stop using anti blackness to justify some things that ain't got nothing to do with anti blackness. Because again, blackness was a word that was created for this construct. Yeah, unless the hair is like this. You already there with me. Unless your teeth is straight. Cause these how these bitches came in my mouth. But if you want to sit with us, you need to go and get them girls fixed. You need to go and get that nose fixed. Cause you can't sit with us. You can't be coming up in here showing all that skin. Although that's what our ancestors did. And our ancestors didn't just drink alcohol to be drunk. They drank because they was trying to regulate their body when the weather was changing. They commune with them spirits because it helped them to regulate their body when it was a little, all of a sudden, the weather just shifted on them. They had a little sip to warm their chest. Because they didn't have all them layers of clothes that we done sewn and created. They wanted to warm their chest. It was a method to all of that. That's why a lot of indigenous people are really, really prone to alcohol. It's not just I want to drink. It's bitch, it's cold. Pass me one of them spirits. But when you don't abandon your heritage, when you can't escape your heritage, when your heritage come find you, and mine's have, look at this, shaved, short in the front. This is a whole indigenous haircut. You know, when you stop running from yourself, you gonna always find you. And so when people want to have conversations about anti-blackness, we as deeply melanated people feel like we should be left out of those conversations and we let the pretendians guide the conversation. As if we don't have a right. Bitch, I'm not black and indigenous. I'm black indigenous. It's not black and indigenous, bitch. It's black indigenous. So, um, some of the things, over time we evolve, we grow, we change, but at a certain time, you go back to what you know. And this is how I know that I'm healing with nature and I'm connecting with nature. We went kayaking yesterday and I was on the water and I was just getting so many downloads. And um I really been thinking a lot about how snakes are like really, really, really like killing off a lot of the stuff on the earth. Like, and they're talking about kill the snakes on sight because snakes are evasive creatures. And, we are hearing a lot of language about killing pythons. But pythons, when you know the Indian story, you know about the rainbow serpent. You know that the serpent, even in the Bible, even if we want to go to a Bible story, the serpent was one of the archetypes. It was one of the original beings. Adam did not name the snake. The snake was out. God didn't even create the snake in the garden. The snake came and was already there. So when you search religions all over the country, when you search spirituality and faiths all over the country, you see the snake has already been there from the beginning. And why I think this rise of snakes, why I think this is happening with snakes, why so many of them are manifesting and starting to show up and starting to make other animals go extinct. I think there's a conversation being had that a lot of us are not privy to. And I think what's going on in the conversation is a lot of these animals are just going back to the beginning. And the snake is the conduit for that to happen. The snake is, it's time to bring all this stuff back into me. The rainbow serpent about to wake up. The that being that come from the ocean, honey, deep down in the ocean, that serpent being is coming back, honey, and you know it's coming back because all of its little children and its little offspring is around here eating up all the stuff, taking it back into them, getting ready for what's finna go down. Oh yes, honey. So when you talk about snakes being evasive, they can never be more evasive than a lot of humans are. We're the most evasive species on the planet. So I think that is definitely something to think about. Like snakes, literally, they've been here, and I'm trying to heal with my relationship with snakes because I've been taught to fear them and to have animosity with them. You know, and I'm just in a different space in my life. Like I'm gonna close with this. Yeah, they really played a heavy mind game on us. I I am I'm not saying that I'm not here for the fuckery because I will entertain some bullshit. Let's go. Let me just go ahead and keep it real. But what I'm acknowledging at this point is every day when I wake up, the biggest fight that I have to have is with myself. My biggest fight ever that I'm gonna have with myself. I can't beef with you. I'm over here beefing with me every day. Every day. People be like, I'm starting to understand a whole bunch of things that I didn't understand. I used to didn't understand violent music, always listening to violent music, always listening to violent music. And the reason why I didn't understand always listening to violent music, now that as I reflect upon that, I think the reason why I've never really well, when I was younger I could get into it, but why violent music vexed me so is because if I'm being honest with myself, I'm trying to hold my monster back. I'm trying to keep from doing something crazy that I'm trying to hold back my storm. I got a hair trigger. So I don't need no help. I don't need to be bucked up. I don't need to be bucked up. I don't need an incentive to act a fool. Every day it takes a lot of bandwidth and a lot of wherewithal just to be able to navigate certain spaces and not flash the fuck out. Because that's how my trauma set up. A hair trigger. So why am I going to feed my psyche things that's going to send me out there head first? You know, I understand the need of being ready for war and being prepared for war, but child, I'm over here trying to calm my storm, not buck it up. You know, and I also understand rest in peace now because if you're paying attention to what's happening in the world, what's going on in the Congo, what's going on in Palestine, what's going on right here in America with our poor people, with our disenfranchised people, with our marginalized people. What's going on right here? Just because it's not as extreme as what's going on in those different places, it's still happening right here. People are still being treated like guinea pigs and lab rats and are being treated disposable right here, right now, right on this soil. So we don't have to look to Palestine. We don't have to look to Congo. They're doing it right here. Sex trafficking is happening right here. If you go to Las Vegas, you're going to see the signs in the bathroom. So a war is coming. And it's not just going to be a war on the physical plane. It's going to be a war on the spiritual plane. So when they tell our ancestors to rest in peace, it's not really rest in peace. It's rest in purpose. Because your purpose is coming. Getting ready for it. Some of us, when we get ready to go to the other side, child, this war is so close, honey, we ain't going to get no full sleep. We going to get a nap. Baby, they inside the cocoon right now. They inside the cocoon because if you ask me, death is just a cocoon. where the metamorphosis is happening. There's never death. It's dormant, and you're in metamorphosis. Like that caterpillar turns into a goo. It completely decomposes and then restores itself in another form. And that's what death is for me. I'm about to completely dissolve from this vessel, and I'm about to emerge as something else, about the shapeshift. A shapeshift is happening. So, yes, and some of our ancestors, they in the cocoon right now, getting ready, getting ready for the next phase. So, that like a lot of things that I used to hate when people said rest in peace. I used to hate that. They used to pluck me and like list violent movies and stuff like. That's why I don't think I'm gonna watch them. I didn't watch the new Jeffrey Dahmer. I did not watch Handmaid's Tale, and I don't want to watch the new Them because I don't need stories that's gonna. I don't need to watch stories that's gonna set me off. I like to laugh these days. I like to watch things that make me laugh. I like to watch silly shit. Because that calms me. I don't need anything that's going to infuriate me more because every day it's a struggle. Y'all don't know. I be wanting to flash. I have a sadistic side in me. And I am 47 years old, and I have done very good at keeping that in check. I am not against violence, but I have held my peace because I'm not ready to walk into that. Because once I immerse myself with that, I don't know if I'm coming back, bitch. Once I step into the bad side, bitch. Once I take the, gonna take a mean ride. Step into the bad side. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Gonna take a mean ride. I don't know if I could, bitch, I don't know if I'm gonna come back from that, bitch. Y'all remember the movie Belly when that woman was on the balcony with that machete, and they had sent shooters to his house to kill him, and they couldn't get the shooters to come, and she had on her face paint, and she had her machetes, and she was on that balcony, and she was crouched, and she jumped down from the balcony, and she slit his fucking throat in his heels. See, that's my spirit animal. And I was her in another life. I was that. I was very much that energy. And I think that is still in me. That part is still in me. And when I was younger, I would never fight for myself, but I would always fight for my loved ones. And I don't know where the strength would come from. It would just, I don't know where it would come from. People that I was afraid of, people that bullied me, let them harm somebody in my family. Bitch, I shapeshifted. And so it's getting to that time where we gonna have to shapeshift for our loved ones. It's getting to be that time. It's getting to be, y'all remember I said that. The season is coming where we gonna have to shapeshift to defend our loved ones. And it's gonna be on a whole nother level. We're gonna have to face our fears, honey. But we can't even have these conversations and have everybody at the table who needs to be at the table if we're being anti-indigenous. If we're trying to exclude the people who are truly connected to nature. The people who are not just trying to be black, just trying to be excellent, black excellent within the matrix. The people who just trying to be the talented 10, the people who just trying to be the elite bourgeois. Because they not going to tell us the whole truth. So be careful who you exclude from the conversation. Because a lot of them, they will exclude that from their conversation when they're sharing with you. But behind the scenes, they just like King Solomon was in the Bible, going to see necromancers talking to voodoo priestess, dibbling and dabbling in all of it behind the scenes. They going to talk to so and so and so and so, but then they'll get in front of you and tell you, We know the Catholic Church run the government, and they constantly telling us, you ain't supposed to pray to nobody but Jesus. That's what they got us. That's what they tell us in the black church. Don't do all that other stuff. You just supposed to pray to Jesus. The Catholic Church run this damn country, and they pray to every saint. What is the saints, if not ancestors, if not praying to the dead? Why you could pray to the dead in the Catholic Church, but you can't pray to the dead in the Baptist Church? You can't pray to your ancestors in the Baptist Church. Y'all gonna make that make sense one day, because it ain't making none today. Anyway, I'm about to get on here because I was really only planning on talking for about 30 something minutes. I mean for about 10, 15 minutes, and I done been on here for 36 minutes. So I'm about to get ready to roll out. But yeah, like I said at the beginning of the video, I really am gonna start focusing on another channel, restoring another channel, because this one, I want to preserve it, and I just want to do a fresh, like I have some channels that I have already created, and I just want to be more concise with how I show up. I know that I have the potential to be all things. I know that I'm everything and nothing. I know that I'm whole, a man, a woman. But, as I grow older, as I near my 50s, I do want to be more concise. I will leave. I do want to still have nuance and authenticity, but just have all of the layers. I'll leave that to some of my spiritual children to carry out. And I just want to focus on a few things, in this next leg of the journey, so that I can become better prepared for the things that are happening now. You know, Self care takes a lot more time than it used to take. Um, I have to spend a lot of time with myself, a lot of time checking on myself and just being present for myself. And so when I talk about topics, it's not that I don't care about what's going on in the world. It's that it's more important to me to focus on shaping the world that I want to leave as a legacy. I can't save the whole world. I can't. I wasn't even meant to. And a lot of people don't want to be saved. You got to free yourself here before you can free yourself anywhere else. And I'm not going to fight you to free yourself here. So what I can do is be present for people who are ready to receive what I'm talking about. And so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna continue getting free those who are ready to receive the message. So when I get ready to start using my new platform, I will begin to promote it heavy on this one. And those of you who have been loyal to me from the beginning, those of you who are just joining and wish to go for the journey, I will let you know as it unfolds. Please go and check out the video on my Instagram. It was a tribute to Antron for his birthday. We did an amazing job, and I want all of y'all to see it and support it. It was a labor of love, and we did it. Anyway, I love y'all. Down but now that I say cool, keep spinning and turning in Gani Iyanko Kalukalo, which means I am a child of God Goddess. And if I am, then you know you are. Have a blessed one, be well, and take care. Later.